On the way to the palace to request the imperial decree, I intercepted Lord Ryan Zhao's carriage. He reined in his horse on the long street, his expression impatient. "It's just about obtaining an imperial marriage decree. Must I accompany you? I've heard the crown prince is to marry a noble lady, and Ying is weeping bitterly. I must go comfort her. You go alone." I bit my lip and handed the marriage proposal to him. "My lord, would you care to take a look?" With a thud, the proposal was swept aside as he mounted his horse. His eyes filled with annoyance. "Enough, Scarlet. I never said I wouldn't marry you. Must you persist like this?" His horse's hooves trampled over the marriage proposal. He didn't see it. The name on it wasn't his, but the crown prince's. At the Hall of Heavenly Purity, the crown prince was also present. His Majesty wrote the marriage decree in our presence. However, as the Empress had left the palace for Buddhist rites, the decree would take some time to be issued. Outside, the crown prince took my hand, his eyes shimmering with joy. "Scarlet, you finally agreed to be mine." I furrowed my brows in thought, choosing my words carefully. "May I ask, Your Highness, what position do you intend to bestow upon Miss Su in the future?" He was slightly taken aback. "Ying? Why would I grant her a position?" I bit my lip. Ying Su, the junior sister of both the Crown Prince and Lord Ryan Zhao. According to Lord Ryan Zhao, the Crown Prince and his junior sister shared a deep bond. So much so that he overlooked her humble origins as an orphan. He intended to overcome all obstacles to marry her as his crown princess. And Lord Ryan Zhao willingly stepped aside for his junior sister and the crown prince, becoming her strong support. Such profound devotion was truly touching. Unfortunately, I am not Ying Su, but rather the childhood sweetheart who has cherished Lord Ryan Zhao for over a decade. The fiancé who once had a verbal marriage pact with him. I closed my eyes, suppressing the ache in my heart. If your highness has feelings for Miss Su, you should give her a proper status, rather than leaving her adrift outside. The crown prince grew anxious, quickly turning me to face him, seeming very concerned. "Scarlet, have you misunderstood something? I only regard her as a sister, with no romantic intentions. Where did you hear such things?" I suddenly opened my eyes, meeting his pitch, black pupils. His gaze was clear and sincere, showing no sign of deceit. With a slight tug at the corner of my lips, I offered him a faint smile. "So that's how it is." It was merely someone's wishful thinking. The carriage didn't return to the estate, but detoured to Maplewood Garden instead. The Grand Princess was hosting the 100 Flowers banquet. She had invited me long ago. Yet, as soon as I entered the garden, an arrow pierced through my veiled hat. In full view of everyone, my hair cascaded down in disarray, leaving me in an embarrassing state. I was taken away to change my clothes. Passing by the pavilion, I inadvertently caught sight of Ying Su toying with a bow and arrow while sneering. "Second brother, is that your childhood sweetheart? She's not much to look at." A familiar voice followed closely. "She's just an ordinary girl from the inner chambers. Quiet and dull, hardly a match for your unparalleled elegance." The speaker was none other than Lord Ryan Zhao. The woman seemed somewhat pleased with herself, pouting her lips. "Your childhood sweetheart may be dull and uninteresting, but at least she's of noble status and adores you. You should just settle for marrying her. After all, I already have senior brother, and I can't bear to see you end up alone because of me." Lord Ryan Zhao's eyes showed bitterness, his voice tinged with a hint of grievance and loneliness. "Don't worry, junior sister. I will marry her. I won't put you in a difficult position. As for you, remember that senior brother is the crown prince after all. Don't hold a grudge against him." Leaning on the low table, the woman pouted and swayed Lord Ryan Zhao's arm coquettishly. "It's just that the crown prince is being too unreasonable. I've been following him without any official status, and now he wants to marry a noble lady for the throne. If he doesn't come begging for my forgiveness this time, I won't pay him any mind." I didn't listen further and turned to leave. Over a decade of childhood companionship ultimately couldn't compete with the sudden arrival of a junior sister. As I stepped out, I encountered Lord Ryan Zhao. He looked somewhat anxious, his voice carrying a note of reproach. "What took you so long to change?" I took a step back, raising an eyebrow to look at him. What, were you looking for me? Or have you found the assassin? He frowned, displeasure in his eyes. Why put it so harshly? It was merely an accidental bump. How could that make someone an assassin? Fine then. Have you caught the one who bumped into me? He hesitated for a moment, then nodded. It was Ying, my junior sister from Song Mountain. She's used to playing pranks up there. Hearing we were to marry, she just wanted to see what you look like. No ill intent. How about I have her apologize to you? I thought it over briefly, and, considering the Grand Princess's dignity, decided not to press the matter. At the same low table, Ying Su was dozing, sprawled across it, covered with a navy blue cloak. I recognized it at once as Lord Ryan Zhao's. Hearing the noise, she sat up, rubbed her eyes, glanced past me straight at Zhao behind, and mumbled, "What took you so long? Where's my roast chicken?" Zhao gave a wry smile and pulled a greasy paper package from his sleeve. Steam rose from it, showing how well its owner had kept it warm. I watched his actions expressionlessly, thinking he even managed to bring a roast chicken while searching for me. How considerate of him. He carefully tore the roast chicken apart and handed it to her. Only after seeing her wolf down a piece did he smile dotingly and say, "All right, stop eating for now." As he spoke, he affectionately patted her shoulder and gestured toward me with a nod. "This is Scarlet. You accidentally shot and damaged her veiled hat earlier. Shouldn't you offer her a drink to apologize?" Ying Su seemed to notice my presence only then. She took Lord Ryan Zhao's handkerchief to wipe her mouth, then turned to me with a grin. "Sorry, Miss Scarlet. I forgot that ladies of the inner chambers don't practice martial arts. Shooting a veil hat and startling you like that was truly my fault. But you can rest assured, my archery is precise. I would never harm you." After saying this, she personally poured a cup of wine and handed it to me. Lord Ryan Zhao also looked over, his gaze full of hope. "All right, Scarlet, for my sake, don't hold it against her." I frowned and took a small sip. A sharp spiciness stabbed my throat, igniting like fire and triggering a fit of coughing. Su Ying's surprised chuckle reached my ears. "Oh dear, I forgot again. You sheltered young ladies can't handle such strong blade liquor. My mistake for grabbing it out of habit." After a while, my coughing subsided. It was just a careless gulp. This liquor isn't entirely undrinkable, though the one across from me might not fare as well. I smiled, tilted my head back, and downed it in one go. Feeling the burn as it went down, I lifted my head and looked at her with a smile. "All right, now, it's your turn, Miss Ying." She stared at me, dumbfounded, her face flushing and paling before she snatched up her cup and gulped it down defiantly. Sure enough, the liquor hit her throat and she choked, tears and sniffles flowing. A truly pitiful sight. I watched her calmly, a mocking expression on my face. Why trouble others with something you're not good at yourself? For a long while, she continued to weep uncontrollably, hiccuping repeatedly from the drink, shooting me a resentful glare before clenching her fists and pounding fiercely on Lord Ryan Zhao. I knew it. "Hick, your fiancé never liked me. She's deliberately targeting me." Hick, Lord Ryan Zhao, heart aching, wiped her tears and patted her back, turning an angry gaze toward me. "Lady Scarlet Moo, what are you up to? Ying kindly came to apologize to you, and this is how you treat her? I never knew before that you could be so venomous." I sneered coldly. When one's heart is blind, everything they see is distorted. For several days in a row, Lord Ryan Zhao did not seek me out, and even the gifts I sent were returned untouched by the servants. I asked the servant who delivered them helplessly, "Did he look at them?" "No. As soon as the Marquis's estate heard it was from you, Miss, they didn't even touch them and had me bring them back." After saying this, he hesitated and added in a low voice, "Perhaps you should stop sending gifts for now. Miss, the gatekeepers over there saying awful things, claiming you angered the young lord, and are now desperately trying to curry favor, annoying him endlessly." I sighed and silently motioned for the maid to take the box away. The box contained all the gifts Lord Ryan Zhao had given me. I merely intended to return them. Feeling troubled, I invited a few close friends for a spring outing. We spent hours strolling through Four Treasures Alley in the afternoon and didn't return home until dusk. To my surprise, as soon as I entered the flower hall, I came face to face with an unexpected guest. Ying Su, dressed in a light green gown, was seated beside my mother, chatting and laughing with her. Seeing me enter, she helped my mother stand up and greeted me with a bright smile. Sister Xiao is here. We were just talking about you. Her familiar demeanor made it seem as though she were the true lady of the Duke's manor. As she moved, the golden hairpin in her hair shimmered brilliantly. My eyes darkened. It was unmistakably the one I had once gifted to Lord Ryan Zhao. I stepped forward abruptly, snatched the hairpin from her, slammed it heavily onto the table, and suppressed my rage. Who gave you permission to come here? She let out a sharp cry and quickly hid behind my mother. Sister, what are you doing? Mother, save me. A jolt shot through me, and I demanded sharply, what did you call her? My mother soothed her while looking at me in confusion. What's going on? Didn't you say you wanted to adopt Ying as your sworn sister to elevate her status, so she wouldn't appear shabby when marrying the crown prince? I shuddered as if struck by lightning. Since His Majesty decreed that the marriage edict must wait for the Empress's return, I hadn't mentioned the betrothal to my family. After a long pause, I heard my own voice rise sharply. Who? When did I say that? My mother grew frantic and quickly pulled me aside. It was Brother Ryan. Of course. He personally brought her here, claiming it was your wish, and hinted we should take good care of Miss Sue, saying she has a great destiny. You've always cherished Brother Ryan, and Miss Sue was even wearing your golden phoenix hairpin. How could I not believe him? A fierce rage churned in my chest, almost materializing to consume me entirely. It was Lord Ryan Zhao. This golden phoenix hairpin was something he asked me for on the very day he returned home from the mountain, saying that seeing the hairpin would be like seeing me. So, from the moment he descended the mountain, he had already begun paving the way and scheming for his beloved junior sister. Ying Su was an orphan by birth. With her status, she wasn't even fit to be a consort to the crown prince, yet she still aspired to become the crown princess. Lord Ryan Zhao went to great lengths to secure a noble identity for her, daring even to set his sights on me and on the manor of dukedom. Does she even deserve it? I took a deep breath and briefly explained the situation to my mother. My mother replied with a hint of concern. It's all my fault for not asking you more, only thinking that you were fond of the young lord and fearing he might blame you if displeased. My heart ached with regret. It was I who had always been determined to marry Lord Ryan Zhao, causing even my parents to suffer indignities on my account. But now that she's been brought in, we need a proper reason to expel her. I narrowed my eyes slightly, a mysterious smile playing on my lips. Mother, don't trouble yourself. Who says we have to drive her out? I have a plan. Early the next morning, just as dawn broke, as I was about to leave, I bumped into young Lord Zhao, who was rushing over in a flurry. His eyes lit up at the sight of me, and he waved the golden bow in his left hand, raising an eyebrow at me. Ying forgot her bow and arrows. I was just about to deliver them. Which courtyard does she live in? Hurry and take me to see her. I looked at him with a mocking expression. Does young Lord Zhao have nothing to explain to me? He paused briefly, then waved his hand impatiently. What is there to explain? If you can't handle such a small matter, how will you ever have the face to marry me and become the mistress of the Marquis's household? I sneered coldly and strode away quickly. Since he wants to see her, let him see her then. Along the way, he kept muttering, Ying is the future crown princess. You should treat her with respect daily. Don't impose the rules of the Duke's manor on her. Once she becomes the empress, the Duke's manor will surely benefit. Wait, where have you put Ying? This looks like the servants' quarters. Ignoring his words, I reached out and pushed the door open. In the disorderly courtyard, a girl dressed as a maid, sleeves rolled up, was tearfully pounding laundry. Behind her stood a burly, imposing matron. Hearing the door creak, the girl turned around, revealing a flushed face full of grievance. Lord Ryan Zhao froze for a moment, then abruptly turned to me, his face instantly turning ashen. Lady Scarlet Moo, how dare you make her a servant? Ying Su, as if spotting a savior, dropped the washing baton and threw herself into his arms, sobbing loudly. Lord Ryan Zhao held her tenderly, his heart aching. Silly girl, why did you just obey like that? Wah! Even their household matron knows martial arts. They bullied me. I'll have the crown prince execute their entire clan. Lord Ryan Zhao glared at me furiously, his anger blazing. Lady Scarlet Mu, you have some nerve, daring to defy me in secret? Our Zhao family cannot tolerate a venomous woman like you who acts on her own. Don't expect me to marry you again. With that, she grabbed someone and stormed out angrily. In contrast, Ying Su, despite crying bitterly, stood her ground, her gaze shifting between me and Lord Ryan Zhao, as if she had a secret to whisper to him. I shrugged and stepped further away. After a while, Lord Ryan Zhao finally emerged, hands behind his back, looking at me condescendingly. Since Ying has pleaded for you, let it be. Ying is to be the future crown princess. Even in jealousy, one must know their limits. When His Highness comes to fetch Ying, how will you account for yourself? With that, he flung his sleeve and left. I cast a deep glance at Ying Su, who silently continued washing clothes, and did not linger any longer. In the main courtyard, my mother was tallying my dowry. Seeing me enter, she hurriedly pulled me over to review the dowry list. Come quickly. Shower, is there anything to add? Such a grand matter as the Emperor's decree for your marriage. And you didn't mention it sooner. Marrying into the Eastern Palace isn't like the Marquis's estate. We must be even more meticulous. I sighed. The imperial decree hasn't been issued yet. Mother, please don't spread the word. She nodded, unable to contain her joy. I told your father yesterday, and he was overjoyed. My father is the crown prince's esteemed tutor, and has always hoped I would marry him. Unfortunately, I was too devoted to Lord Ryan Zhao, and came to my senses a bit too late. I couldn't help but smile bitterly, and my mother seemed to notice, looking at me with concern. Shower, have you truly let go of that Zhao boy? If you're unwilling to enter the palace, while the decree hasn't been issued, I'll risk my dignity to stop this marriage for you. My throat tightened with emotion as I gently embraced her. Don't worry, Mother, I'm willing. After returning to my room, Matron Zheng was already waiting for me. I reclined lazily on the chaise lounge, casually pouring tea. Speak. The matron before me looked respectful, completely unlike the arrogance she displayed in front of Ying Su. Miss Su said to tell young Lord Zhao that the crown prince wants her to find a way to stay at the Duke's manor, and that he would arrange an identity for her, so he could marry her. Seeing that I remained expressionless, she lowered her head again, hesitated for a moment, then gritted her teeth. I also noticed something else. She seems to be pregnant. Thump! The cup was set down heavily on the table. My eyes darkened, and I remained silent. Matron Jing broke out in a cold sweat and hesitantly tried to comfort me. Don't panic. Miss, what I saw might not be accurate. Does she know herself? She probably doesn't know yet. I waved my hand, signaling for her to leave. Only after she had gone far away did Autumn look at me with concern. Miss, how could she be pregnant? I sneered. It's the crown prince's. I wearily rubbed my temples. Although I had anticipated this all along, having it confirmed firsthand was still far from pleasant. Without the entanglement of love and hate, how could Ying Su and Lord Ryan Zhao be so resolute in their claims? Whether it was the bond between fellow disciples or romantic feelings, I already had the answer in my heart. It's just that the Emperor's health is failing. The third prince has married the legitimate daughter of the nation, guarding general, and the crown prince dares not gamble his throne for love. He needs the support of the manor of dukedom, and I need the esteemed position of empress. There's nothing wrong with each taking what they need, but why pretend to have feelings for me? Why deceive me? Autumn took over to comb my hair and sighed. Then, Miss, will you still marry His Highness the Crown Prince? I closed my eyes and slowly relaxed. Marry? Why wouldn't I? Whether it's Lord Yan Zhao or the Crown Prince, neither is a good match for me. Since that's the case, why not ascend to the highest position, to live for myself, and for the manor of dukedom? After Lord Ryan Zhao stopped coming to see me, the Duke's manor became much quieter. Even Ying Su settled into washing clothes peacefully, no longer weeping, as if resigned to being a maid in the Duke's manor, until the rumors from the streets began to spread. Now, everyone outside is saying that Ying Su is not only your Highness's junior sister, but also the long-lost daughter of the Duke's manor, and that your Highness intends to marry her as the crown princess, which is why the Duke brought her back to the manor. Autumn muttered indignantly, seething with anger. These rumors are truly vicious, slandering both the master and your Highness. Since your Highness hasn't reacted, the master can't refute them either. What should we do? I stirred the floating leaves in my tea, my expression calm. It's fine. Once the imperial decree is issued, they'll naturally fall silent. I wonder why Ying Su is so certain that her brother Crown Prince would choose love. These rumors reveal that there are many secrets between the two. The rumors grew increasingly intense, even recounting stories of the Crown Prince and his junior sister during their training days at Song Mountain. Some even mentioned Lord Ryan Zhao, the devoted young lord who silently protected his beloved junior sister, until 3 days later, when the emperor and empress returned to the palace. It was said that the emperor was overjoyed and issued several marriage decrees in succession. One of them was from His Highness, the Crown Prince. Ying Su, who hadn't left home for days, rushed to the main courtyard early in the morning, looking anxious. Lord Ryan Zhao also arrived early, his eyes a mix of bitterness and joy. Ying, you're finally about to get your wish. Ying Su, having pretended for so long, finally regained her usual arrogance and glanced at me disdainfully, saying, "Don't worry, second brother. Once I become the crown princess, I'll arrange your marriage. But with such a young lord's wife, second brother, you'll have to discipline her properly." I ignored the two of them and walked straight out. The one who came to announce the decree was the crown prince. His posture was as elegant as jade, gentle and refined. Seeing Ying Su there, he paused slightly, a trace of discomfort flashing in his eyes. When his gaze turned to me, it carried a touch of tenderness. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Ying Su shyly lower her head. A smile graced my lips, calm and humble. I suddenly wondered what the crown prince must be feeling, bestowing a marriage upon me in front of his beloved. By the mandate of heaven, the emperor decrees, the legitimate daughter of the Duke, Lady Scarlet Mu, is virtuous, graceful, gentle, kind, and outstanding in character and appearance. Having heard this with great pleasure, I now bestow her in marriage to the imperial heir, to be wed on an auspicious day. Without a doubt, it is me. However, not everyone shared this view. As soon as the eunuch finished reading the decree, Ying Su's face turned deathly pale. Staggering unsteadily, she rushed forward and grabbed the crown prince. "Who is it, your highness? Tell me, who is the one you're betrothed to? You lied to me. You lied. You're still marrying a noble lady." Crown Prince Ethan Lee pushed her away, his smile fading slightly. "Junior sister, my feelings for you are merely fraternal. How can you falsely accuse me like this? If I have done anything before that led to misunderstandings, I apologize to you." After speaking, he looked at me with deep affection. "Do not cause any more trouble and create a rift between me and my fiancé." Ying Su's face turned ashen, and she nearly collapsed, but was fortunately caught in time by Lord Ryan Zhao from behind. I feigned surprise as I looked them over and kindly reminded them, "Your Highness, since we were once fellow disciples, why not take Miss Su as a concubine?" Lord Ryan Zhao suddenly turned and glared at me with fury. "Lady Scarlet Mu, how dare you insult her like this?" The crown prince's expression darkened as he spoke with measured firmness. "Young Lord Zhao, you must not be disrespectful to my crown princess." Then he looked at me, his tone softening somewhat. "There's no need. Scarlet, junior sister, and I share no romantic feelings." Ying Su could no longer hold back, her eyes rolling back as she fainted. Crown Prince Ethan Lee stayed with me a while longer before leaving, hinting at moving the wedding date forward. I gave a slight nod. I'd heard from my father that His Majesty's health was worsening, and with the third prince poised to act, the crown prince must be growing anxious. At the corner, I was intercepted by Lord Ryan Zhao. His eyes were bloodshot as he glared at me fiercely. Lady Scarlet Moo, what have you done? Why did you steal Ying's position as crown princess? Didn't you swear you'd marry me and no one else? Or is this just another one of your jealous schemes? This has gone too far. He looked furious, his gaze sharp as arrows, almost piercing right through me. For a moment, I couldn't tell if he was more heartbroken over Ying Su or more enraged that I refused to marry him. I scoffed and waved dismissively at the servants nearby. Soon, a rosewood chest was carried over. Lord Ryan Zhao paused briefly, his eyes lighting up as if recalling something, a hint of arrogance crossing his brow. I know you've sent me several gifts to apologize, and I refuse them all. Are you upset with me over that? How about this? Go tell His Highness that you don't want to be the crown princess and that you only wish to marry me, and I'll accept these items and forgive you. What do you say? I was so exasperated I nearly laughed. Where did he get such audacity? I kicked the rosewood chest, and the heavy lid flew open with a thud, a faint sneer curling my lips. Young Lord Zhao, care to take a look at what's really inside this chest? He impatiently leaned in to look, and with just one glance, he froze, his face turning ashen. Lady Scarlet Moo, you've long wanted to settle accounts with me? How dare you? His face flushed crimson. He abruptly stepped back, staring at me in disbelief, trembling with rage, as if only now realizing that the jealousy was feigned, and her true intent was to avoid marrying him. Shame and anger mingled with an indescribable sense of loss, nearly overwhelming him. I half closed my eyes and spoke softly with hidden meaning. The matter of the crown princess is settled. The young lord has been infatuated with Miss Su for years. Have you never considered other possibilities? He was stunned and instinctively retorted. What do you mean? I tilted my head slightly and whispered temptingly. Miss Su is at her most vulnerable now. Since you admire her, young lord, why not marry her yourself? His brow furrowed abruptly. Lost in thought, it was time for him to ponder this. Why should the crown prince be able to marry a mere orphan like her, but not him? Lord Ryan Zhao truly lived up to my expectations. Within half a day, the news of him being caught in a compromising situation with a disheveled Ying Su spread throughout the estate. She had been discarded by the crown prince and was no longer the treasure everyone fought over. Since she wasn't a woman of particularly high status, why couldn't he have her? Lord Ryan Zhao was a man, and men inherently have their flaws. What others compete for always seems desirable, while what they discard often feels cheapened. Faced with the woman he loved, who had collapsed in his arms in despair, it was natural for him to lose control. Yet, he genuinely admired her and was willing to marry her and take responsibility. He was already a remarkably good man. Even without thinking deeply, I could guess Lord Ryan Zhao's thoughts. After Ying regained her composure, she wept bitterly, as I had anticipated. She ultimately agreed to the marriage. After finishing dinner, she came to find me, her eyes still red. She looked at me with undiminished hatred. You agreed to let me marry under the guise of the Duke's Manor's cousin, just to get rid of me sooner, didn't you? You're afraid, aren't you? Afraid that Crown Prince Ethan Lee still holds me in his heart. Afraid that your position as Crown Princess is unstable. You win. I agree to marry Lord Ryan Zhao. I want Crown Prince Ethan Lee to regret it for the rest of his life, to suffer the consequences of losing me after deceiving me. I picked up the teacup. Farewell. See, the mindset of someone love. Struck as just that simple. The wedding date for Lord Ryan Zhao was set for the same day as that of the Crown Prince and me. This was at Ying Su's request. I didn't mind. Let her scheme all she wants. With phoenix crown and rosy veil, the wedding night awaited. The Crown Prince lifted the bridal veil, smiling warmly at me. Scarlet, I have finally married you. To anyone watching, he appeared the picture of a bashful groom who had at last achieved his heart's desire. Unfortunately, it was utterly hypocritical and nauseating. I smiled back, feigning boundless shyness. The wedding candles flickered, casting dancing shadows across the crimson bed curtains. Two people sharing a bed, but dreaming different dreams. This was the epitome of it. In the dead of night, I was tormented by a nightmare. In the dream, during my 3rd year as the Empress, Crown Prince Ethan Lee forced me to drink poison wine. As I lay dying, he stood before me, holding Ying Su, his face contorted with resentment. "It's all your fault that I've had to make Ying suffer for so many years. And you even pretended to arrange for her to be my consort. What a joke. My Ying deserves only to be the Empress." Lately, I've been haunted by this recurring nightmare, much like how I used to dream of marrying Lord Ryan Zhao and ending up neglected and lonely in my old age. I managed to avoid the latter fate, and I will absolutely prevent the former from coming true. Crown Prince Ethan Lee was awakened by my distress and gently draped a robe over my shoulders. "What's wrong? Scarlet, did you have a bad dream?" His gentle face overlapped with the vicious one from my dream. But I suppressed the turmoil within and offered a faint smile. "It's nothing. I wonder, when you learn that Ying Su has married another, will you still be so eager to make her your Empress?" He sighed and drew me into his embrace. "It must be my fault for not doing well enough, causing Scarlet to have nightmares." I shook my head with a smile. "Your Highness treats me better than anyone could. What more could I possibly want?" He paused for a moment, as if recalling something, and hesitantly spoke. "Scarlet, after all, Junior sister and I were once fellow disciples. It's a pity she's of somewhat humble status. Why not have the Duke adopt her as his foster daughter? Later, I'll find her a good match to marry, which would be worthy of her feelings. What do you think? The fox has finally shown its tail. Adopting her as a foster daughter is just to pave the way for her to replace me in the future." I nodded with a smile. "Why trouble yourself with such matters? Your Highness, today is our wedding day, and it's also a joyous occasion for Miss Su, isn't it?" He froze instantly. "She is marrying whom?" "Naturally, Lord Ryan Zhao. The young lord has admired her for a long time, and finally got his wish." He was astonished. "How is that possible? Didn't the young lord say he would marry your cousin?" "Miss Su is none other than your cousin, Your Highness. It seems we share the same thought. Since she is your junior sister, she ought to have a proper status when she marries. Don't you think I've been quite considerate, Your Highness?" The breathing behind me grew heavier, and after a long pause, I heard a voice that was nearly gritted through teeth. "Indeed, very considerate." The next morning, the Crown Prince and I entered the palace to pay our respects. In the Imperial Garden, we coincidentally encountered Lord Ryan Zhao with Ying Su, who were there to greet the Empress Dowager. As our eyes met, all but mine reddened with emotion. The joy on Lord Ryan Zhao's face vanished abruptly upon seeing my hand tightly clasped in the Crown Prince's. The Crown Prince's eyes smiled, though beneath them surged unspoken turmoil. He gazed at Ying Su, lips pressed shut and saying nothing, his grip on my hand tightening intermittently. Ying Su stared back at him, stubbornly biting her lower lip, on the verge of tears as if holding back words, until she finally snorted softly and turned away. Only then did Lord Ryan Zhao remember her presence. Seeing the exchange between them, his face turned even greener, with a hint of it threatening to spread to the top of his head. After paying respects, the Empress kept the Crown Prince behind for a private conversation. With nothing better to do, I wandered around. In a secluded corner of the back hill, a familiar voice faintly reached my ears. "Ying, what do you mean by this? Why are you marrying Lord Ryan Zhao?" It was the Crown Prince. I hesitated for a moment, then concealed myself. "I had the Empress help distract Scarlet just so I could come find you, and this is how you treat me?" Ying Su's voice trembled with tears. "You lied to me. You sent me into the Duke's manor and still married Lady Scarlet Mu. If you can deceive me, why can't I marry someone else?" The Crown Prince paced with his hands behind his back, his anger barely contained. "I sent you to the Duke's manor so you could eventually replace Lady Scarlet Mu, but you went and ruined my plans by spreading rumors. I worked hard to have Scarlet persuade her father to adopt you, only to hear you're marrying Lord Ryan Zhao. How could you be so foolish?" Ying Su froze, then cried even harder. "You call me foolish. Sob, but it's you who insisted on marrying a noble lady and now blame me." After a long moment, the Crown Prince sighed, pulled her close, and gently patted her shoulder. Alright, stop crying. I had no choice. I truly dared not gamble with the throne. I kept the truth from you, fearing you couldn't bear it. I never imagined you'd marry someone else. But it's fortunate. Young Lord Zhao always listens to you. Just manage him for a while, and once I've secured the throne, I'll find a way to bring you into the palace. Rest assured, the position of Empress is yours alone. His heartfelt words moved Yingsu deeply, and she clung to him, weeping uncontrollably. On the way back to the residence, the crown prince was in high spirits. He was tender and affectionate toward me, speaking eloquently and showing great consideration. Indeed, with both the empire and a beauty in his grasp, how could he not be pleased? Crown Prince Ethan Lee's assessment was correct. From the moment he married me, the Duke of Ding had placed all his bets on the crown prince. My father never acts unless he must, but when he does, it's always with grand impact. The third prince's faction was quickly overwhelmed and defeated. At the manor of Duke Ding, the court physician examined my pulse. 3 pairs of eyes were fixed intently on him. The elderly physician cleared his throat lightly and stroked his beard. The crown princess is indeed with child. My father grinned, so widely his eyes disappeared. Good, very good indeed. Since that scoundrel Ethan Lee dares to wrong you, it wouldn't be impossible to remove the father, keep the child, and support my grandson's ascension to the throne. If the tiger doesn't show its might, they'll mistake me for a sick cat. They even dare to spread rumors about me. If you hadn't stopped me back then, I'd have taught them a lesson long ago. All your mother's scolding and hitting me was for nothing. Over at young Lord Zhao's place, things have been quite lively lately. I heard Yingsu is pregnant, already 2 months along. This is rather awkward. The young lord's wife has only been married for just over a month. How could she be 2 months pregnant? Lord Ryan Zhao gritted his teeth and admitted the child was his. He tried to secretly arrange an abortion, but Yingsu threw a fit and refused to agree. The crown prince, mindful of the duke's manner at this critical moment, dared not speak up. He allowed Lord Ryan Zhao and Yingsu to stir up chaos as they pleased. I recounted it to the crown prince as if it were a joke. After all, they're both his flesh and blood, just born a month early. I don't know what the young lord is fussing about. Surely, he doesn't suspect the child isn't his? Crown Prince Ethan Lee's eyes darted nervously, his smile strained. How could that be? Junior's sister has always valued her integrity. It must be the young lord overthinking things. It was at that moment the funeral bell tolled. The crown prince perked up immediately and hurried off to the palace. I gazed at the gloomy sky, silent. The emperor has passed away. The world is about to change. All the noble women entered the palace to mourn, including the young lord's wife, Yingsu. The crown prince wept through several vigils, looking utterly haggard, yet his entire being seemed focused and alert. I had anticipated something would happen to Yingsu, so when she came to me covered in blood, I wasn't shocked. She was in a daze, appearing utterly deranged. Lady Scarlet Moo, he's a scoundrel. You'll regret marrying him. You will regret it. He wants to kill our child. He actually tricked me into drinking an abortion potion. How could this happen? Why is this happening? He clearly promised he would be good to me. Why has he deceived me time and again? In truth, there is no why. When the news spread that her pregnancy didn't match the expected timeline, this child of hers was doomed. Many speculated, openly or covertly, that the child was the crown prince's, especially after His Majesty's passing. The third prince's faction, with their unyielding treacherous intentions, sought to exploit this matter for their schemes. The crown prince was no fool. If Lord Ryan Zhao couldn't handle it, he had to take matters into his own hands. But no one expected Yingsu to be so fierce, fighting back desperately in her rage. I injured his manhood. Haha, her face was deathly pale, her laughter maniacal, bordering on despair. He killed my child, so I made sure he'll have no descendants in this lifetime. Haha, she was executed by a volley of arrows, accused of murdering the crown prince. At this time, Crown Prince Ethan Lee remained unconscious. I wonder if he would feel even a hint of heartache if he were to see this. Lord Ryan Zhao took away Yingsu's body. His expression was vacant, moving like a walking corpse. As he passed by me, he cast a deep glance my way. "Scarlet, does this have anything to do with you?" I looked at him calmly, offering no response. He gave a bitter smile. "Never mind. There's no point in saying this. In the end, he betrayed her, and I betrayed you." Ethan Lee's injury was kept secret. A nation cannot be without a ruler for even a day. So, he ascended the throne with his broken body. The third prince did attempt some mischief, but fortunately, my father was prepared, making the ascension relatively smooth. Ethan Lee grasped my hand, overwhelmed with gratitude. "Scarlet, I have only you from now on. Your child will be my imperial heir." As for Ying, he never even mentioned her. No matter how deep a man's affections may be, they become trivial when his own interests are at stake, especially since Ying Su had rendered him impotent, fueling his intense hatred. The manor of Marquis Yong'an was implicated and stripped of its nobility, and Lord Ryan Zhao was demoted to commoner status. Not long after, the secret guards reported that Lord Ryan Zhao had drowned accidentally while mourning his deceased wife. I knew it was Crown Prince Ethan Lee's doing. Having lost his manhood, his temperament had become unpredictable, and his methods increasingly ruthless and severe. He harbored resentment towards Ying Su, and even more so towards Lord Ryan Zhao. Naturally, he wouldn't let them live, just as I wouldn't let him live either. The following June, I gave birth to a son. Crown Prince Ethan Lee was overjoyed and personally designated him as the imperial heir. He was named Prince Huanli. Holding Prince Huanli, he laughed triumphantly to the heavens. "Ying Su, oh Ying Su, you thought you could make me heirless. But how could it be that easy? Even heaven is on my side. Haha." As he finished speaking, his expression suddenly froze. His eyes turned rigid, and his mouth twisted with drool. The news that the new emperor had suffered a stroke from excessive excitement instantly spread throughout the court. I handed the child to the wet nurse and gently tucked the blanket around Crown Prince Ethan Lee. He could no longer speak, only gesturing with his hands while making incoherent sounds. The imperial physician came to check his pulse and declared that his end was near. I sighed and cried even more sorrowfully. After everyone had left, I leaned close to Ethan Lee's ear. "Your Majesty, there's something I fear I must tell you now, or I may never get another chance. Huaner is not your flesh and blood. It's also my fault. I wanted a child so desperately that I slept with 9 different noblemen in succession." Ethan Lee's eyes widened with rage, his hands trembling as he struggled to speak. "Your Majesty wants to ask whose child it is? I cannot say for certain either. Each of those 9 noblemen had their own charms. Truth be told, you might still be the father, with a 1 in 10 chance." I cover my mouth, smiling faintly, yet not quite smiling, finally unable to bear it any longer. He rolled his eyes and fainted. Those who deceive others will ultimately be deceived themselves. It's time he got a taste of his own medicine. In July of that year, the new emperor passed away, and the crown prince Huan Li ascended the throne, with the empress mother Scarlet Mu presiding behind the screen. From then on, the nightmares ceased to haunt my nights.